There's a product in your bathroom right now that you apply to your skin every single morning, that you have probably never once read the label of, and that contains a metal the European Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety has formally flagged for further investigation. You walked past two things at the grocery store yesterday that would replace it permanently for about $1.50. You walked past them because nobody told you to stop. And stick around, because by the end of this, I'm going to give you the exact recipe they used, and the one I use myself every single day, to make a deodorant that outperforms anything you will ever find on a store shelf. Not slightly, not close. By a distance that will make you genuinely angry, you spent money on the other stuff for as long as you did. But before we get into what they are, I want you to think about something first. The Vikings have a reputation. Violent, unwashed, barbaric, the horned helmet, the burning monastery, the general chaos. That reputation was mostly written by the people they were raiding, the monks of Christian Europe, who had every reason to paint them as savages and very little incentive to describe them accurately. Here is what the archaeology actually shows. Excavations across Scandinavia have pulled the same items out of Viking graves over and over again, not just weapons and treasure, but combs, razors, tweezers, ear picks, nail cleaners, personal grooming tools so consistently present that historians have called them a universal possession. The Norse word for Saturday, lagardagur, translates directly to washing day. They named a day of the week after bathing. In an era when most of medieval Europe bathed once or twice a year and treated perfume as a substitute for soap. The English chronicles of the time, written by people who were furious about this, record that Viking men bathed weekly, combed their hair daily, and changed their clothes with a frequency that Anglo-Saxon men did not match. The chronicler John of Wallingford documented, with genuine irritation, that so many Anglo-Saxon women left their husbands for Norse men that it became a social crisis. Not because of violence, because of clean hair and a decent smell. They were the best groomed people in medieval Europe, and they did it without a single thing from a laboratory. What they used on their skin they made from plants, from minerals, from things available in their immediate environment. And those things worked, which is what the personal care industry has spent the better part of a century making sure you didn't think too hard about. Because here is what is actually happening under your arm, and why the product you're using now is solving the wrong problem. Body odor is not caused by sweat. Sweat itself is almost completely odorless. What causes the smell is specific bacteria, primarily Staphylococcus epidermidis and Corynebacterium species, that metabolize the compounds in your sweat and release volatile byproducts as they do it. Healthy underarm skin sits at a pH of around 5, slightly acidic, and that is exactly the range where those bacteria are most comfortable. Most commercial deodorants do not address that at all. They mask it with fragrance and antibacterials that disrupt your skin's entire microbial environment indiscriminately. The ones labeled antiperspirant go further. They contain aluminum compounds that physically plug your sweat ducts, not metaphorically. Aluminum chlorohydrate forms a gel plug at the opening of the duct and blocks sweat production entirely. Now, the mainstream scientific consensus is that aluminum absorption through intact skin from normal antiperspirant use is low. Studies have measured it at around 0.012% of what's applied. Major cancer organizations have not confirmed a causal link. That is true, and you deserve to hear it. What is also true is that the same European scientific committee that reviewed this data called for further investigation, specifically noting that absorption through broken or compromised skin, a freshly shaved underarm for instance, may be meaningfully higher. The question is not fully settled, and for something you apply every single day for your entire adult life, not fully settled, is worth knowing about. But even if you set that aside entirely, you are plugging a biological process your body is supposed to perform. Sweating is not a malfunction. It is temperature regulation. It maintains your skin's microbial balance, shutting it down completely, every day, indefinitely, because a brand told you sweat is embarrassing. That is a choice worth making consciously, not by default. Here is what actually addresses the cause of odor and why. Baking soda has a pH of 9. Apply it to underarm skin and you shift the local environment into alkaline territory where odor-producing bacteria cannot comfortably operate. You are not suppressing sweat. You are removing the bacteria's ability to do anything with it. Coconut oil contains lauric acid, a medium-chain fatty acid with documented antimicrobial activity, specifically against Staphylococcus epidermidis, the primary bacterial species responsible for underarm odor. Arrowroot powder absorbs moisture without blocking anything. These are not folk remedies with a wellness rebrand. They are ingredients with specific, documented mechanisms that directly address the actual cause of the problem. Here is how you make it. Everything you need is either already in your kitchen or at any grocery store. Baking soda, the plain yellow box, $1 anywhere. Coconut oil, the cooking kind, in the oil aisle. Arrowroot powder is usually in the baking aisle of a larger grocery store. If your store doesn't carry it, cornstarch from your pantry works as a direct substitute. Essential oils are at any health food store, and one bottle lasts years of batches. 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 10 to 15 drops of essential oil, tea tree for maximum antibacterial effect, lavender if your skin runs sensitive, cedarwood or spruce if you want something that smells like you built the Longship yourself. Warm the coconut oil gently until it just turns liquid. 30 seconds in the microwave or a minute on the lowest heat your stove has. Pour it into a bowl and let it cool 2 or 3 minutes until warm but not hot to the touch. If you add the dry ingredients while it's still very hot, they will clump. Stir in the arrowroot first, then the baking soda until the texture is completely smooth. It should look like a thin, pale paste with no white streaks. Add your essential oil, stir once more, and pour into a 4-ounce glass jar. Leave it alone for 2 hours. It will firm into a soft, creamy solid about the consistency of thick body butter. To use it, your skin must be completely dry. This is the step most people get wrong. Baking soda on damp skin creates a stronger alkaline reaction on contact and will sting. Dry off fully after a shower, wait a minute, then take a pea-sized amount, genuinely the size of a pea, no more, warm it between your fingertips for a few seconds, and apply with a gentle circular motion. It absorbs within a minute with no white residue. More is not better. More leaves marks on dark clothing and performs no better than the right amount. That batch costs under $2 and lasts 2 to 3 months. Sealed in a jar at room temperature, it keeps for up to a year. If it liquefies in summer heat, it has not gone bad. Put the jar in the fridge for 20 minutes and it resolidifies, which brings us to the hot climate problem. Coconut oil melts at 24 degrees Celsius. In a warm bathroom or a bag on a summer day, this formula turns to liquid. The fix is beeswax, 1 teaspoon of beeswax pellets, available at craft stores. Or online, a small bag lasts 2 years. Melt it in with the coconut oil at the start, plus 1 tablespoon of shea butter for slip. Add 10 drops of tea tree and 5 drops of peppermint. The peppermint sounds optional. It is not, once you've tried it. The faint cooling sensation on application in hot weather is worth every penny of the nothing it costs. Pour this version into an empty deodorant stick tube, the standard 2.65 ounce size, under $1 at any pharmacy. Fill it 3/4 of the way, let it set overnight, and you have a solid natural deodorant that travels, applies without your fingers, and holds its shape and heat that would reduce the original formula to liquid. Now here's the thing nobody warns you about, and the reason most people try this once and quit within a week thinking it doesn't work. If you have used commercial antiperspirant for years, the first 1 to 3 weeks after switching will be unpleasant. Your sweat glands, physically plugged, for years, will normalize. Your skin's microbiome will rebalance. During that window, you will sweat more than usual and notice more odor than the formula seems to be preventing. You will be tempted to conclude it is not working. It is working. What is not working is the expectation that the transition should be invisible. 2 things help. Dry brush your underarms before showering. A soft bristled brush, 30 seconds per side. It speeds up how quickly the skin normalizes. And stay well hydrated, because diluted sweat gives bacteria less to metabolize. The transition passes completely. After it does, the formula works on its own terms, which are different from antiperspirants' terms, but are entirely real. And if at any point you develop redness, a rash, or a burning sensation, stop. That is a baking soda sensitivity reaction, the alkalinity disrupting your skin's pH over daily use. It is not an allergy. It does not mean natural deodorant cannot work for you. Replace the baking soda 1 for 1 with magnesium hydroxide powder, the dry powder, not liquid milk of magnesia. It is not in every grocery store, but ships online for a few dollars and a bag lasts months. Magnesium hydroxide works through a different mechanism entirely. It disrupts bacterial enzyme activity directly without touching your skin's pH, and it is significantly gentler. People who cannot tolerate baking soda-based formulas almost universally do well with this version. It is also the right starting point for anyone who has never used commercial antiperspirant and wants to skip the transition period entirely. The Havamal, the Norse wisdom poetry attributed to Odin, instructs the reader to begin each day washed and combed because you never know where the day will take you or whether you will still be alive by evening. They did not groom themselves out of vanity. They did it as readiness, as a statement about how they intended to move through the world. They made their soap from fire and fat. They bathed in rivers and steam houses. They carried their combs to their graves. They never needed a laboratory, a supply chain, or foil-sealed product with 17 ingredients to smell like something worth standing near. And neither do you. The personal care industry generates over $600 billion a year. It is not a market built on people solving problems permanently for $2. It is a market built on people who never stopped to look at what was already on the bottom shelf. The ingredients that have been managing human body odor for thousands of years did not stop working. They just stopped being the thing you were handed at the checkout. Now you know, and you won't forget it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.